Do your ears hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie 'em in a knot? Can you tie 'em in a
Yeah,
bow?
unfortunately, incredibly accurate. That's an introduction. Yes, they do for this guy. Our friend Ned joins us in the studio. Ned is a longtime employee of our company. He's worked at this radio station since you were 19. Oops,
Okay,
wrong
hold
one.
on
My
a
bad.
second here.
My fault.
Hold on.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. I would
fine.
say, about 19 or so.
That is unbelievable. Because I said to Ned the other day, it was last week maybe, I said, you said your age, and I thought, my God, I would have thought you were older. You've worked here forever.
I have. I started off as an intern, and now look where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Dreams come
Hey,
true.
that's quite a voice you've got there.
sky's
You
the
ever think
limit.
about doing radio?
No, something came up the other day that I swear to God I had never noticed.
Well, yeah, I had been following this story for some time. If you would talk to people and get to know them, maybe you'd know these things.
It's true. It's definitely true.
But I know-
Well, I talked to Ned, but I apparently don't make
Well,
eye contact or look at him.
Some time ago, Ned had a procedure done to correct something he had done to his ears.
Yes.
Ned was one of these guys, correct me if I'm wrong, Ned, where you would you put like little gauges into what was started as a piercing.
Right. Started off as a normal piercing, and then I basically just increased the size.
Gauged it out.
Yeah, I gauged it out, made them bigger so I could put bigger
Okay.
earrings in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how big did it get ultimately?
It got, I would say, if you didn't know really much about gauges, I would say about a
Half inch?
A dime.
little
Nickel,
smaller
quarter.
than a dime. A little
Okay.
smaller
They
than a
weren't,
dime.
they weren't
Okay.
They
absurd.
weren't huge, no.
Doesn't Labrie have those stupid things?
I think so.
Yeah.
They look terrible.
Yeah.
When you got them, did you?
No, they look fine on a 50-year-old.
Yeah.
I know the guy's like 50. Got gauges.
I mean,
Ned,
that's cool.
when you first started doing that, you were just past 18?
I was pretty freshly out of high school. So, yeah, about 18.
Did your parents have an issue with it, or they just go, that's
They
Ned
saw,
finding himself?
I did the original piercings themselves, and they were like, oh, yeah, they were called training studs or whatever they wanted
Yeah.
to be called.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't let them heal all the way before I was like, oh, whatever. I'm just going to start gauging now because I want them to look cool. Because they were
Well-
at first diamond earrings, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, I don't like that. So I want to get some rings or whatever. And that's ultimately what started happening, and I went down the wrong path.
Did you say you did it yourself?
I did.
Like with a potato and an ice cube?
Well,
that
no, I
kind of
didn't
thing?
pierce them myself, but I
Oh.
started gauging myself.
Steve's going to come in here
Gotcha.
while we're doing this, and he's going to get our webcam for the people who are watching the show
Yeah.
right
Oh,
now
perfect.
at freebirdhotwings.com. When I'm gonna in a second, I'll have you pop your headphones back.
Mm.
Steve wrote a text to me on the instant message, want me to come in and aim the webcam at his freak ears.
Well, I think I'm correct. You called them ear penises.
Oh yeah,
you did
Man,
for-
you blew my story. You see, you gotta get to. We'll get you there.
Okay. All right.
But anyway,
I'll hang back.
It's penis ears to
Oh,
be right.
okay. All right.
But it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter remains, you're big into metal music. You're known as Metalhead Ned.
Yep, very
because
much
you
so.
have this terrible, terrible taste in music.
You had a metalhead wedding, didn't you?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
most
I
metal
did.
wedding ever is
Yeah.
how it was
Yep.
described.
So this kind of goes with the whole lifestyle thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I got tattoo. I can get tattoos, no problem and such, and nothing goes wrong with my body. It just goes. But when it comes to ear piercings, once metal goes into my ear, it's like my body just rejects it pretty much.
So you decided to change things up maybe a year and a half ago when you got that surgery? Was it that long ago?
It's actually been a 4-year uphill battle.
He started getting
wow,
operated on.
really?
Yeah.
He was walking around with gauze on
Jeez,
his
I can't-
ears.
I didn't know
it
it was
must
that
have been
long.
after another corrective procedure.
I did. I did not want them for my wedding and wedding photos and stuff like that. So I got them taken off again.
So the
Okay.
gauges, when you were gauging your ears, those they weren't infected or anything from
Nope.
that, or were they? Okay, and
They
you
were
just
not
decided
infected, no.
you
Okay.
wanted them to not. You didn't want the holes anymore.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Basically, it started growing, and I'm like, maybe I should take these out at this point. And then they just kept going and going. And
So-
it
It
sucked.
started
So-
swelling.
Yeah, so you would
Pretty
get
much.
you would get a corrective procedure done to fix them initially,
Right.
and then that kept not working. And you kept having problems,
Yep.
and what that problem is, your earlobes would get this bulbous growth that looks like a penis. Thus, the interaction in the hall the other day. Well, first you came in and I asked you about them, and then Freeber said I never would have even noticed that until you had said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't.
I'm not
I hadn't
observant enough.
noticed the way that your lobes had healed themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I saw you in the hall. You were in front of people in mixed company, and I said out loud, "Hey, is it okay if you come into the radio show and talk about your penis ears?"
That's fair.
And of course, I accepted.
said,
Yeah.
Yeah,
What a
absolutely.
wonderful invitation.
Okay.
I'll tell you though, I've had these things for well over 5 years now, and I've had them removed 3 times. And every time I get them removed, they come back bigger and better. I guess you could call it that.
What's
when
happening?
you say removed, you mean the dangly flesh
Like
lobe.
the dangly flesh lobe had them removed,
And then they grow back.
And then they grow back. They're called
Aren't you
keloid
gonna-
scars.
Oh my God,
Keloid scars.
you're like an octopus.
I am.
Yeah.
I usually call them my gills, and I tell people I can breathe underwater, but they normally don't believe me.
Oh,
Yeah.
it looks awful.
I hate it, man. I absolutely hate it. I've had them late. They used me as a guinea pig after a while. My dermatologist did, and he said,
Look at this poor son of a bitch.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And they've used 3 different types of lasers on me. One of them like that are used for burn victims that are supposed to like stop blood flow. Kept going and going, and then they just after
Oh, my
5 years
God.
just said we can't do anything for you, man. Injections
They
too.
That's
That's
They quit.
amazing.
They
Yeah,
quit.
maybe see
They need
another-
to take
if
your
you see another
DNA
doctor-
sequence out of those things and start applying them to people who have lost limbs.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it can grow back.
Yeah, wouldn't you eventually? I mean,
Yeah.
if one were to grow back and then you had it removed, wouldn't you eventually run out of ear meat?
I would imagine so,
Yeah.
but my body just loves building skin.
Yeah.
Guess so. Maybe your ears are the key to allowing people to walk again.
That's possible, man.
Yeah.
Shove some in a spine and watch them run.
Yeah, get Andy in here. We can do our own experiment.
Yeah. Andy,
our
eat
own
this.
experiment.
Yeah. Forget stem cells. Get some lobe cells from
Put some
Ned.
of Ned's ear meat into Andy's spine.
We'll cook it into a
Before
meatloaf
long.
and feed it to him without him
Yeah.
knowing.
Yes, before long you can rock a solo from Dimebag Daryl and walk.
Yeah, I can walk. I'm good at Super Mario.
Joe,
These are all
how,
things that come together.
Joe, what would it take for us to get you to tongue Ned's ears?
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Ned, would that be okay with you if Joe sucked your lobe?
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm all about it.
I take it back. $300.
Three
for
hundred
you,
bucks.
for you to suckle his
$300.
ear
Yes.
like a
No less.
like a goat on a teat.
Yep.
You know who's getting cheated in this
Yep.
deal? Ned.
Yeah. Why am I not getting any of this money?
You're a terrible negotiator.
I
You
told
already
you
offered
it.
the partner. I'll sit here.
Remember
take
the
some
days,
ear
Joe,
love.
when you used to do it for nothing, for like a point?
Yeah.
That would mean
Yeah.
wouldn't even mean anything.
No.
We've gotten wiser.
Yeah.
What if
those days are over?
Ned? What if somebody hearing? What about a plastic surgeon? Could they do anything? Or would it be the
That's
same
what
thing?
he had.
Well,
So it
I
was
didn't
a-
really have plastic surgery. No,
it was a dermatologist.
it was a
I mean, it's kind of,
dermatologist.
they're related.
So
but-
she just basically took your money, she or he, whoever it
Well,
was.
actually, my dermatologist was awesome and just said, "Listen, this is going to be an uphill battle. We're going to use you as a guinea pig and try things."
So they told you from the beginning that they didn't think it would.
pretty much. Yeah.
Was it all free?
To me, yes, it was pretty much all free.
How often
Okay.
is this common for people who have the gauges?
Yes, keloid scars, they just keep coming back.
Okay.
Oh, so
If-
wouldn't
So
there-
you're
I've
not
seen
like,
worse. There's
You're not
been really
like a
bad
1
ones.
in a million guy who
I am
just
not,
has
no.
terrible ear growth. or
But there's
whatever.
with all the different procedures that they did on me, that usually fix a lot of other people's issues. But
Yeah.
I guess something with my bloodline or body or something like that, they just any kind of treatment
Well, I
was
don't
just
know why
refused.
people do
Yeah.
this because it
I
just-
regret
mean,
it now at this
unless
point,
you're going
man.
to work in a tattoo parlor or be a roadie for a terrible sounding band. There's no point in mutilating your body.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to join like some tribe in Zimbabwe.
I loved piercing, but ever since this crap, I'm like, well.
Does it
just
happen in
can't do
other
it.
It
parts
serves
of
you right.
other parts of the body? Like if somebody has a Prince Albert and
Does
then they
it look
decide
like
they
an
don't want
ear?
it anymore, does it? Do they grow a second satchel under their wang?
Yeah.
If they do it,
Look
yeah,
like an
I don't
upside
doubt
down
it.
teeter totter?
That is terrifying.
Jeez. Man, what?
Steve, will you be able to post some photos for everybody who's not a VIP as well of what's going on? He says
To
yes.
see Ned's penis ears.
That's right.
Man, okay. Well,
Do you feel the need, like if you go to a restaurant or whatever and you catch someone glancing a little
Oh,
too long?
man.
Because I'm sure you see it.
you know it.
Yeah. Oh, it
Do you,
happens
do you
all the
say
time.
anything or do you just sort of
I just kind of mumble under my breath, and I've had people come up to me like, if you ask me and be like, "Hey, if you don't mind me asking, can I ask you about your ears?" I'll be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll tell you." But if you come up to me and say like, "Dude, what's that crap behind your ears?" I usually go, "What's that thing on your head?" "Oh, that's right, your face."
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
usually what I do.
it is offensive.
I'm like,
I mean,
yeah, thanks. You, God, I
yeah.
hate that. But
Yeah.
I've learned to
Yeah.
accept it over the years, and it still does bother me because it's like, oh, there's a mistake I made like 6 years ago. But it's one of those things I just have to learn to live with.
Wow, I don't know, man. I think I gotta. There's got to be a plastic surgeon who can do something.
Well, that was another thing they mentioned too. They said that wouldn't do much because it would just grow under that and everything. And the other thought, the last option was radiation, and they're like, well, there's long-term effects with that. I'm like, you know what?
Holy
It's
crap.
not
I'm
that
just gonna
important.
live. I'm just gonna live with it.
kidding me.
Tim wants to know if you're circumcised and if that grows back all the time also.
Well, you know,
I don't think you need
Maybe
to
you are
answer.
special in
yeah,
that way.
I am. It just keeps,
I mean,
it keeps growing.
Yeah.
You're going to be a superhero known as the Starfish.
Well, on the bright side, it's better that you've embraced your deformed ears
I
than
have.
than adopt the Mitch Albom idiot haircut to cover them up.
Yeah,
So,
you could. Yeah,
I mean, you
always
got
cover your
that
ears
for
with your
you.
hair.
Yeah,
I
don't,
could.
don't do that.
That was a thought, I will say. That was a thought. But I'm not going to do it because my
No.
wife would be like, what the hell do you look like here?
Yeah.
Well, thank God you're married. You don't have to worry about impressing. I mean,
That is very true.
You know, she loves you. She looks past your terrible taste in music and your dumb ears.
She hold on to him like a riding bridle.
You tried it?
And I have not tried that. You know, you're giving me the idea, though.
It
I'll have to try
it
that.
seems like it'd be painful.
Yeah.
It
for
would.
you.
It would be very painful.
Do they hurt?
They don't
Like,
hurt.
like they're not infected, or
No, they're not infected,
It's
but
just
they're
there.
very hard. It's like hard skin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sexy.
Yeah.
It's like a little marble.
Joe,
in there.
I wouldn't even touch them for $300. No offense to Ned.
You might have to nibble on them, Joe,
No.
at that point.
Yeah.
Can we have Joe try to pop them and squeeze the meat
Oh,
out?
That's what I'd be worried about. Like if I accidentally nibbled and it just
Yeah.
started shooting out
Yeah.
scarring.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do a stunt.
It looks like Elmer Fudd's gun.
Yeah, it's just the biggest, grossest blackhead
Oh,
you can imagine.
that's just no.
There's a bot fly living in it.
It's where the butterflies come from, those exhibits. It
was
was
a-
chrysalises.
It was a dermatologist experiment Ned didn't know about.
That's why it was all free.
If you've ever walked along the beach, like at the ocean, you know when the tide comes in and it leaves seaweed, you know those little kelp
Yep.
bubbles?
I know exactly what
That's
you're
what they
talking
look
about.
like.
Oh, yeah.
And you step on them and they burst. I want to burst your ear like a kelp bubble.
Those are what I ate in New York.
Yes, yes.
Well, there's a free dinner in here for you now if you want.
Munch my ears.
I didn't pay for that one. I won't pay for this one.
But you also didn't know if it was real food or fake.
Yeah, isn't
Similar
that
to
funny
this.
how I would rather take the chance of eating plastic than like touch your ear?
No, I'm
I'd
with
say
you,
no
Joe.
offense.
No.
Ned, you're a great sport. Deanna says you sound sexy as hell and need
Oh,
to be
he
on
does.
the air more often.
He
Hey,
does.
all right.
Yeah.
He does.
I'm off to a good start.
Yeah. He needs a good pounding.
I'd grab those
He's
ears.
married, though, ladies. He's taken.
Yeah. So Ned, thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You're a good
That
boy.
is-
Make me less self-conscious about it every day.
That was
I'd be, you know.
that was educational. I learned a lot right there. I
Yeah.
didn't know any of this was even in the realm of possibility.
No.
So.